Did you hear Trump's latest comments on how long the shutdown could last in his private meeting?
No, what's that?
He said months and years.
Great. So I may not get paid the entire time I'm here.
Representative Chris Pappas has always been obsessed with the idea of service. It started in his family's restaurant in Manchester, New Hampshire, where he went from busting suds in the back to co-owning and running the joint. At 22, he became a state representative, and in 2018, became the first openly gay person elected to serve New Hampshire in Congress. We met up the day before he was even officially sworn in as a congressman, and during what would eventually become the longest government shutdown in U.S. history.
Both my grandfathers were in the Army Air Corps. My grandmother was in the Coast Guard. They were part of the greatest generation. You know, when people think of Congress, they think of the dysfunction and the division in Washington. And so we've got to start off by finding ways to relate to one another, by opening government back up, and by making sure that we can respond to the issues that were so important in our campaigns.
For your very first vote, we were just talking, people are always like, I wonder what the first vote is going to be. Yours is probably as important as it gets, making sure that the government at some point reopen.
I look at this as an employer. I have 230 employees at the restaurant business that I've been a part of. It's my family business, been around for 101 years. You need to treat workers like they're members of your extended family. That's what's kept us in business for so long. And I think the federal government should operate the same way. It's ridiculous. So I think Congress needs to stop playing politics and just get down to business and provide the services that the people of this country are expecting.
Let's talk about you growing up. What was your childhood like?
I'm a part of a family restaurant business that my great-grandfather started, so that sort of defined my upbringing. And I learned so much of what I know about the world around me from that, about how to relate to other people, how to serve other people.
Did you see yourself as a congressman when you were working, and probably when you were in high school, maybe busting suds in the back of the family restaurant? Did you see that for yourself at all?
Yeah, I started volunteering on campaigns when I was in high school. Always really enjoyed, being able to support others. But New Hampshire has kind of a low bar for entry in terms of public service. And I ran for the State House when I was 22. Got elected right out of college and served a couple terms there. This is obviously a much bigger undertaking, serving in Congress.
How do you plan on doing that in the current state of the House? Because the House right now is not known at all for its bipartisanship.
What gives me hope is that we have the largest incoming class since Watergate. And these are folks that are really connected to their districts and understand what the people of this country are looking for. So I think if we do have a shot at renewing Congress's ability to operate much more like our founders envisioned, it's with this group.
What do you think Congress isn't getting?
When it becomes more about scoring political points than doing the people's business, that's where Washington gets it wrong. You know, there's someone across the aisle who's confronting the opioid crisis in their district the same way that we are in New Hampshire. And so I think it's our job to look for those partners as a way to, break down the partisan divide and try to push forward some meaningful legislation.
You're the first openly gay congressman coming out of New Hampshire. Do you feel pressure to be the first?
What makes this class unique is that we look more like the rest of America than any other incoming class to Congress in history. We have more women, more people of color, more LGBT Americans, more veterans. So we're going to be much more representative of the rest of this country, and I think have a better shot at pushing forward policies that are responding to what they're looking for. I think America, at its surface is a divided nation. But I think when you get down to the community level, to the family level, you find ways that people can relate to one another, where people can move past their differences and actually get some things done. I've worked with governors of both parties in my own state on big issues like implementing Medicaid expansion, and making sure that we invest more in treatment and recovery services. We've done it in a bipartisan way. I fail to believe that we can't do that here. And I think it's going to take a greater commitment. It's going to take an ability for those who are in elected office to go against their party every now and then, to do what's right and not just what's in the best political interests of their own party.